Some of the biggest stars have faced moments that left them questioning reality. These aren't just stories. They're real experiences that have left these celebrities haunted. So, sit back, relax, and let's dive into these terrifying tales. Story 1. Post Malone. The chart-topping artist known for hits like Rockstar and Circles has always had a fascination with the paranormal. In a candid conversation on Joe Rogan's podcast, Post Malone delved into his experiences and thoughts on the existence of ghosts. During the podcast, Post Malone did not shy away from expressing his firm belief in the supernatural.
Ghosts are real. But I can't explain it.
They might be real.
Ghosts are real, he declared, recounting various personal experiences that have cemented his belief. One particular story that stood out was his encounter with the infamous Dybbuk box, an allegedly cursed object said to be haunted by a malicious spirit.
Well, apparently there's a thing called the Dybbuk box, which is one of the most haunted items in the world.
It all began when Post Malone crossed paths with Zach Bagans, the host of Ghost Adventures. Their shared interest in the paranormal quickly blossomed into a close friendship. Zach, always eager to share his passion for the supernatural, invited Post Malone to join him for an episode of his show, where they would explore his haunted museum and its collection of dark curiosities.
I'm friends with Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures, right?
Oh.
And it's like,
Did he ever take you to a haunted house?
we did a whole episode. You should check it
Did you
out.
get scared?
It's terrifying. It's terrifying, man.
During the show, they explored a series of haunted locations, but it was Zach Bagans' haunted museum that truly captured their attention. Zach's museum houses a vast collection of eerie artifacts, each with its own dark history. Among these was the Dybbuk box, a mysterious item with a grim reputation. The Dybbuk box, an old wine cabinet covered in Hebrew inscriptions, is believed to be cursed and connected to a vengeful spirit called a Dybbuk. The concept of the Dybbuk originates from 16th century Jewish mysticism, particularly within the Kabbalistic tradition. A Dybbuk is believed to be the restless soul of a deceased person that has failed to move on to the afterlife, often due to unfinished business or a sin committed during their lifetime. These spirits are said to possess the living, causing harm and misfortune. The Dybbuk box itself is believed to have originated in Eastern Europe during the early 20th century. The most widely known story of its origins involves a Jewish woman named Havila, who lived in Poland before World War II. Havila apparently used the box in his spiritual rituals to trap a Dybbuk, hoping to contain its evil influence. The box eventually came into the possession of her granddaughter, who brought it to the United States after surviving the Holocaust. The box first gained notoriety in 2012, when Kevin Manis, a furniture refurbisher and writer, put it up for sale on eBay. According to Manis's eBay description, he bought the box at an estate sale in 2001 from the granddaughter of a Holocaust survivor. Manis opened the box and found two 1920s pennies, a lock of blonde and black hair bound with a cord, a small statue engraved with the Hebrew word shalom, a small golden wine goblet, one dried rosebud, and a single candle holder with octopus-shaped legs. Manis and subsequent owners experienced a series of horrifying events linked to the box. Many reported the same eerie occurrences, like the constant smell of cat urine in their homes. Despite not owning any cats, many say that they tried cleaning their houses multiple times, but no matter what they do, the smell just wouldn't go away. Some even mentioned waking up in the middle of the night to the sweet scent of jasmine flowers, only for it to vanish without a trace. Most of the owners report recurring nightmares involving an old woman, an old hag that haunted their dreams repeatedly. These nightmares were often and left them feeling tired and scared to even go to sleep. On top of that, physical ailments plagued some of the owners. Hair falling out unexpectedly, breaking out in hives, and even coughing up blood were common among those who owned the box. and in almost all of the cases, the owners report that light bulbs in their homes would burn out frequently, leaving rooms in darkness. The final owner, fed up with the endless horrors, decided to seal the box for good, after consulting with rabbis to ensure it stayed closed forever. Eventually, he gifted it to Zach Bagans for his haunted museum, hoping to get rid of its curse forever. And that's where Post Malone comes into the story. He visited the haunted museum in Las Vegas with Zach Bagans, who decided to remove the plexiglass cover around the Dybbuk box and touch it for the very first time. A minute-long black and white silent video, released by TMZ, sheds light on what went down at Zach Bagans' haunted museum. The video shows Post Malone during his visit to the museum, specifically in the room housing the Dybbuk box. And in the clip, Zach Bagans is seen touching the box while Post Malone stands nearby. Post Malone, visibly nervous, reaches out and grabs Zach's shoulder, seemingly to tell him it's enough. According to Zach Bagans, at that moment, Post Malone sees something behind Zach, which prompts them to rush out of the room quickly. This brief physical contact, with Zach touching the Dybbuk box and Post touching Zach, is believed to be enough to transfer the curse to Post Malone. Following this incident, a series of unfortunate events unfolded in Post Malone's life. Shortly after the visit in August, Post Malone and his entourage boarded a private plane to London. Immediately after takeoff, the plane's tires blew off, forcing an emergency landing. Although the landing was successful, the misfortunes didn't stop there. A few days later, armed robbers broke into a house in San Fernando Valley that they believed was Post Malone's. Fortunately, he wasn't there at the time. As if that wasn't enough, on September 7th, Post Malone's Rolls-Royce was T-boned by a Kia in West Hollywood. Miraculously, he emerged unscathed from the accident. These events, happening in such close succession, led Post Malone to believe that he was indeed cursed by the Dybbuk box. The sequence of calamities seemed too coincidental to be anything other than the result of his brief encounter with the box.
My plane almost crashed. I was in a car accident. My house got robbed, and I had bite marks on my arm.
Story 2. Demi Lovato is known for her powerful vocals and roles in Disney Channel's Camp Rock and Sunny with a Chance. However, beyond her musical and acting career, Demi has had some chilling encounters with the paranormal that have stayed with her since childhood.
My mom walked into the room and I was talking to something. And my mom was like, "Who are you talking to?" I was like, "It's the little girl in the picture frame. Her name is Emily."
Her horror experience began in her childhood home in Dallas, Texas. This was a charming, old house with creaky wooden floors and a history that stretched back decades. As a young girl, Demi started noticing strange things happening around her house. It all started with little things. Footsteps echoing through the hallways when no one else was home. Doors creaking open by themselves, and sudden chills that would sweep through the room, making the hair on the back of her neck stand up. The most unsettling part of Demi's childhood was the ghost she named Emily. She first saw Emily when she was 8 years old, waking up in the middle of the night to see a figure standing at the foot of her bed. At first, she thought she was imagining things, perhaps a shadow cast by the moonlight. But as the sightings continued, she realized Emily was very real. Demi would often find Emily in her room, a figure dressed in an old-fashioned white dress, her face pale but calm. Emily wasn't a terrifying ghost. In fact, Demi described her as almost friendly. She would often see Emily sitting quietly in her room or standing in her closet, watching over her with a gentle yet protective presence. Despite the initial fear, Demi grew somewhat accustomed to Emily's visits. There was a sense of comfort in Emily's presence, even if it was eerie. Friends and family who visited the Lovato home also experienced strange things. They felt sudden drops in temperature or heard whispers when no one else was around. Some even claimed to have seen Emily themselves, validating Demi's experiences. These visitors would often leave the house feeling uneasy. One particularly vivid memory Demi shared was of playing with her dolls one afternoon. She had left her toys neatly arranged in a circle on the floor before going to the kitchen for a snack. When she returned, the dolls had been moved into a line, as if someone or something had been playing with them in her absence. No one else was home at the time, and Demi was certain it was Emily's doing. As Demi grew older, she spoke with her mom about these experiences. Her mom confirmed that she too had felt a presence in the house and had experienced some of the same strange occurrences. This validation from her mom made Demi even more convinced that Emily was real. Further confirmation came years later, when paranormal investigators visited the house. They reported picking up unusual readings and sensing a presence, which they believed to be the spirit of a young girl. Remarkably, without Demi mentioning the name, these investigators identified the spirit as Emily, which gave Demi chills and affirmed her childhood experiences even more. Emily's story remained a mystery. There were rumors among the neighbors that the house had a tragic past, but no one knew the full story. Some speculated that Emily was the spirit of a young girl who had lived in the house many years ago, perhaps a victim of a sad and untimely death. Demi's encounters with Emily left a lasting impression. Even as she grew older and moved away, the memories of her childhood ghost never faded. Sharing this tale on Ellen, it was clear that these childhood experiences with Emily were both eerie and strangely comforting for Demi.
Your house in Texas, because I'm obsessed with this stuff. You have a haunted house.
I do.
All right, and it's really haunted.
It's an actual haunted house, yes.
So what do you mean it's your house? It's a house that your family lives in, or you live in?
It's the house that I grew up in Texas, so technically it's my parents' house.
Okay.
But,
Has it been haunted since you were a little girl?
Yes. Honestly, like this is not a long enough segment to tell you everything because it's like an hour of stories.
Story 3. Miley Cyrus. The famous pop star known for her hit songs had her own chilling encounter with the supernatural. In an interview with Elle magazine, Miley recounted her harrowing experiences in a London apartment she once rented. This story takes us to an old apartment she rented in the city, a place that would soon become the backdrop for some truly eerie experiences. Miley described the apartment as charming but old. The unsettling events began when Miley and her family started experiencing strange occurrences. It wasn't just one incident, it was a series of inexplicable events that left them all on edge. It started with small things, objects moving on their own, unexplained sounds echoing through the rooms, and an unsettling feeling of being watched. But soon, things took a darker turn. Miley recalled one particularly frightening night when she was taking a shower and felt an overwhelming sense of dread. Suddenly, she saw a little boy staring at her through the mirror. Shocked and terrified, she jumped out of the shower and ran out of the bathroom, only to later find that there was no one there. Her sister Noah also had a disturbing encounter. She reported seeing an old man sitting on the edge of her bed, watching her as she slept. These sightings were so vivid and frequent that the whole family started to feel like they were living in a haunted house. But the scariest incident happened to Miley herself. One night, she was awakened by a strange sensation and found that the shower in her bathroom had turned on by itself with water gushing out. When she tried to turn it off, it wouldn't budge, as if some unseen force was holding the knob in place. Eventually, she managed to shut off the water, but the experience left her shaken. Miley's family eventually decided to move out of the apartment, unable to handle the constant fear and strange occurrences. Later, Miley discovered that the apartment had a dark history. She learned that it was once a bakery where a tragic accident had claimed the lives of several people, including children. This revelation only added to the eerie feeling that had been infused in their stay. For Miley, the haunting was not just a creepy tale but a stark reminder of life's unpredictability. It also brought her family closer, as they navigated the unsettling events together. In interviews, Miley has occasionally referenced these experiences, noting how they've made her more open to the supernatural and more empathetic to others with similar stories. The London apartment ordeal became a unique chapter in her life, shaping her views on the paranormal and reminding her that some mysteries remain beyond explanation. There you have it. some of the most spine-chilling celebrity ghost stories. These tales show that even stars aren't immune to the supernatural. These experiences have left a lasting impact on each of them, reminding us that the unknown can reach out to anyone. If you enjoyed these eerie stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more scary stories. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay curious, and may the mysteries of the supernatural continue to captivate your imagination. This is Supernatural Secrets signing off.